Hey, Alan, if that's got a heated rear screen, you better keep your hands warm while you're pushing it, mate.
Oi, Alan, I like your wheelbarrow.
You know, Alan, if you fill it with fuel, you double its value.
It's not a Skoda Estelle, bloomin' meanies. Hello everybody, look at this. A Skoda Octavia Mark IV. It's a 1.5 TSI petrol engine. We've got this here as like a demonstrator. We're just testing it out to see if it's going to be any good as a future taxi. You know how the mondeos are all kind of like 300,000 miles? We're flinging bloody money at them all the time. The fleet's going to need to be replaced at some point. So we thought we'd get a Skoda from the dealer, demonstrator, and give it a run around and see how it goes. And I thought I'd get it here on the ramp and just have a little look around it. So I'm not going to go into too much detail. This is just like a first look, first impressions, you know, how they last. Anyway, this particular car, I believe it's 2020 model. I'm sort of like shocked by how much technology is packed into this bloody car. I mean, I'm talking about the standard things you'd normally have. Climate control, central locking, flipping heated seats, and not just the base of the seat, the back of the seat as well. There's electronics on this car. Lane assist is one of them. There's another one which is like electronic distance control. It will keep you a certain distance from the car in front, and it will automatically speed up and slow the car down. And also, when I mentioned the lane control, if you never experienced that, if you're like falling asleep and drift over to the left or to the right of the motorway, get too close to the sort of curb, it will kind of take over the steering for you and shake it, kind of nudge you to sort of like grab the steering again and steer yourself. All these electronic devices, park assist, stuff like that it's got. So I'm going to take a walk around this car and kind of give you my thoughts on it, see if it's any good. At the moment, at first glance, it looks very nice. But I think what we'll do is, we'll lift the bonnet, go underneath, go inside, just have a quick play with a few of the controls and see what we think. Let's go. Shall we start with the Skoda emblem? That is what they call the winged arrow, a symbol of speed. But also, that front grille looks a bit sinister. It's a bit imposing. And those headlights, they haven't got bulbs in them anymore, they are LEDs. And it looks like that has front headlamp washers. I'll have to give that a try. Look at all them lines across the bonnet. It's quite nicely designed, I must say. Maybe because it's still new, it's not 5 years old and been ragged around for God knows how many hundreds of thousands of miles by taxi drivers. I shudder to think what these cars are going to look like in 5 years' time and what problems they're going to bring. But at the moment, the jury's out. I have no idea. We obviously have lane assist in the windscreen. There'll be like a camera in there. And there's also your automatic windscreen wipers if it detects rain. Should we look inside? Little LEDs on the mirrors. Yeah. What's the door shut like? Oh, that sounds okay. That's all rather nice. There's a nice little touch here actually, just down here. Look at that. They even give you an umbrella so you don't get wet. That is actually quite good. I like that touch. Nice speaker grills. All the switches seem to be nice and neat. There's your handbook. Them seats are nice. They're kind of plush velour and leather. Let's have a sit inside. Oh, we've got the Skoda emblem on the steering wheel as well. That's the leather steering wheel, by the way. Centre armrest. a little cubby hole, another little tray you can put your keys and stuff in. There's the electronic handbrake. I'm not a fan of electronic handbrakes. Glove box, fairly roomy in there. We've got sun visors with little lights above them, which I think I've got to switch the ignition on for them to work. Maybe not. They're not, don't seem to be working, so pass on that one. You've got your multimedia centre here, which will bring up, where have we got? Home. Let's see. Oh, here we go. We've got our menu, so we can tap on anything, and oh, it's all touchscreen. Oh, yeah. So you've got lots of functions on here. I'll tell you one thing you do have, which I find very interesting. Just here, you've got heated seats. See that? You touch it once, and that'll be full heat, and then you can touch it again to bring the heat down a bar. But also these heated seats, as I've already found out, they're not just on the base, they're on your back as well. And boy, oh boy, do they warm your bottom and back up. So very, very nice. I like that. I do like heated seats in the winter. But yeah, there's all sorts of things you can do on this. It'll take you quite a few hours to sort of like navigate your way around it and understand it all. You've got your sat nav. Oh yeah, that's on our home screen. Oh, but it's very nice. Telephone. We've got a radio. Yep. And your dash, you can control certain things on your instrument panel from your steering wheel buttons. So you've got this part over here where you've got your lane assist. You've even got a speed limiter by the looks of things. And you can sort of like scroll down. Yeah. And then you can bring it back to your rev meter. It's a very nice dash. And now when you switch the ignition on, the headlights automatically come on. I've just started the engine up, and there's our headlights. Look at that. And one thing I have noticed, down here, you've got two USB-Cs. So if you're hoping for a USB socket, you're out of luck. You've got to have the USB-Cs. And I have looked in the glove box and elsewhere, there just isn't one that I can find. One other annoying thing I have to say is this handbrake. I can put the handbrake on, but you can't take it off once you switch the ignition off. It automatically puts the handbrake on the moment you switch the ignition off. So that's a bit of a bummer. I don't like that, because I'm looking at things as if this was a taxi and the alternator packed up or something like that, and it ran the battery down, and you stopped and turned the ignition off, and there was enough power to put the handbrake on, then you can't move the car if the battery's flat. If you can't take the handbrake off. So anyway, that's a little gripe. It does have tinted windows, which is quite nice. Look at that. Them door panels, they're quite actually nice. They're very Volkswagen. Well, this is Volkswagen really, isn't it? But it's very well designed. I mean, I know this is like the lower end. Skoda it's like the lower end of the Volkswagens, but they have put a lot of effort into this to make it very nice indeed. Nice little LED interior lights. Little pockets in the backs of your seats. You've got rear vents for your heating. It's very comfy in here. I like that. Them seats, like a 60-40 split, and they both come down. Fuel cap. And let's head round to the back. Look at that. It's all LED lighting. This is quite impressive. The size of this boot is pretty nice. you can you can certainly fit a good deal of bloody luggage in there, that's for sure. That is flipping huge. And also, although you do not get an alley wheel for a spare, you get a steel rim, but you get a full-size tyre on it, not one of them little skinny wheels. And the toolkit comes with your locker, and it comes with a locker. I like these foam crates where all your toolkit fits in nice and neatly. I like that idea very well. You can keep everything neat and tidy and doesn't rattle around. Plus you get little pockets either side, little hooks you can strap things onto. Not bad. And there's a little handle as well, so you can pull the tailgate down. That's quite a heavy tailgate. It shuts nicely, nice and solid. I tell you, the aerial there looks very BMW-ish. But it's not bad, is it? I mean, it's not a bad shape at all. I'm kind of liking it. Morning, Ryan. What do you reckon to the Skoda?
About 20 minutes with the driver in it, and it'd be
Well, this is the issue, isn't it? I'm kind of thinking these look bloody lovely at the minute, but you put the taxi drivers in these. I mean, you've got to understand they don't own the cars, so they just drive them, and some of them are very good, but there's a lot of them that will just drive it and run it into the ground, and that's how long are these things going to last. Anyway, shall we look under the bonnet? Oh, telescopic rams to lift the bonnet up. Well, it all looks very nice and neat under here, doesn't it? This is the 1.5 litre 150 brake horsepower petrol engine. I have no idea how good they are, but according to the salesman at Skoda, they say they're a very good engine. They do at least 46 to the gallon, and even if you rag them around, you're still going to get good fuel economy. The timing belt on this particular engine, it's a 16 valve with variable valve timing. I believe you get something like 4.5 hours to change the timing belt, which means it'll probably take you longer, but they don't give you a mileage interval on it. They say it's 60 months, which is 5 years, regardless of mileage. So that doesn't sound quite right to me, because you can imagine one of these cars as a taxi, you'd be doing more than 60,000 miles in 5 years if you went for like 12,000 miles a year, which would probably be about the average. So I could imagine there's going to be a lot of timing belts need changing on these when these are taxis. These cars would rack up probably 10,000 miles, sometimes in 6 weeks as a taxi. So that gives you an idea of what kind of mileage these cars would be doing. It has an electronic water pump which is situated down the back of the engine. It's not actually on the front, driven by the cam belt anymore. So there's not a lot more I can really say under the bonnet here. It is 0.20 engine oil, and you believe you change the oil and filter every 10,000 miles. So that's it. We should take the ramp up and have a little look underneath. Well, as this is such a new car, it shouldn't take long. I shouldn't think there's much to actually see. However, I will point out, behind the front bumper there, you have a grille shutter mechanism as they have on the Mark V Mondeos. So there's a load of slats which will open and close electronically to let air through the radiator. So if you smash your front bumper up, be prepared for extra expenses behind it. Right, lots of plastic panels underneath, which is pretty standard today. The suspension is, well, pressed steel lower arms, drive shafts, McPherson strut. It all looks very conventional, but mind you, simplicity is simplicity suits me. You'll notice on these Skoda Octavias, the actual engine under tray, they haven't changed much over the years. They still use them little Torx headed screws to hold the panels on, and then they'll have like 3 bigger headed Torx screws. I think they're Torx 45s at the back. That hub unit up there, it looks a bit on the flimsy side. and it looks like it's rusting. It's got all goldy colour. And it's only sort of, was it, this car's about 3 years old now. This is, mind you, this is a demonstrator from Skoda dealer. Oh, I didn't mention, did I? Up there, there's a little turbo. This is a turbocharged engine. That's why it's got, apparently it's got quite a lot of nippiness to it. There's a part of your catalytic converter. And the exhausts on these cars, they should last flipping years. I mean, I would say more than 10 years. So, you know how exhausts used to rot out? Well, they don't anymore. Fuel tank. Oh, it's got a H-frame at the back. So it's not totally independent rear suspension. No, you've got this bloody great H-frame. Coil springs, separate dampers, yeah, we've already covered the electronic parking brake, but no, it is what it is. The thing I like about new cars, they look very nice and clean underneath. So no, I actually do like the car. I like the shape, I like the lines, it's nicely designed. 17-inch wheels, by the way, 205/55 R17 Michelin's. You notice when you buy a new car, they normally come with a high quality tyre like Michelin's that tend to last, and then we'll go on to Wing Hings or something cheap. But yeah, not bad at all. So that's the underside tour of the Skoda Octavia. And not a lot to see. It looks very simple underneath, I have to say, but simple is good. I reckon we should take this little Skoda up to the roundabout and back, just to see what it drives like. Well, this is certainly nice. You know, although this car, it's done 13,000 miles and it's about 3 years old, it's still got that new car smell. I like that. And also, I've just let go of the foot brake and now it's rolling back. So it's got the hill assist, if I can spit it out. That's when you stop on a slight incline and it won't roll back, which is rather a nice touch actually for modern technology. But it does drive nice. It's smooth, it's quiet, it's got a ton of bloody electronics in it. A certain person who drove this car to our garage, he said to me, he tried to undertake on the motorway and he couldn't do it. The car would not let him undertake. I guess that's all to do with the lane assist. So I don't think I'm quite liking that. Modern technology sort of like dictating that the car's going to do what it wants to do rather than me. I like to have full control of the car. There's a kind of limit to the amount of technology you could actually want. But apart from that, I'm liking it. The dashboard is very sort of like chic. It's got this sort of like a furry, leathery, it's just nice. Yep, I could do a lot of miles in this car. The steering wheel feels good. It had 1 minute. Oh, I just wanted to. Oh, it goes. Yeah. I just wanted to put my foot down there a little bit. It's got quite a small turbo, you see. And normally when you get a small turbo, they get a little more zip. A bigger turbo might have a bit of lag in it. So that was quite nice. Whoa, not bad. Anyway, I suppose I better turn back before I get carried away. You know how it is, you get in a new car, it's like a new toy. But yeah, I'm quite liking it. I know it's a Skoda, but let's face it, it's Volkswagen at the end of the day. It's Volkswagen technology. What I'll do is I'll turn round at this roundabout at the top of the road and I'll head back. But there's no rattles, there's no knocks. The steering feels like weighted. It feels just right. It's not too light. It's not too heavy. There we go. So I've got to keep the trade plate, keeps falling off. We haven't actually got the tax yet, so we've got to have a trade plate in it on the windscreen. But yeah, what a nice car. And for this was about £20,000 to buy, which is not bad, I guess, in today's market, especially when you get a car as specced out as this. I mean, it's got a lot of gadgets on it, and I do like them heated seats. There goes my trade plate again. Oh yeah, nice. I suppose I better give you my final thoughts on whether I think this is actually going to be any good as a taxi or not. If it was just my personal car, just doing maybe 12,000 miles a year, I think it'd be very nice. I think this car would last a very, very long time. I know the bodies on these particular Volkswagens are, I'm sure they're galvanised steel, so they're not going to rust anytime soon. I shall just pull up, jump out and have a little word. Right. The sun has just come out and I can't see a goddamn thing, but hey ho. Well, I guess I better give you my final thoughts. One little thing here I haven't actually mentioned. The key fob, it's rather shiny, it's very nice looking. I do wonder though how all that shininess may get scratched up. But anyway, there is a little button on the side of this key fob that you can press, and it should, if I can do it, yes, release the spare key. So just in case you ever need that. Anyway, let's get back to why are we actually having this Skoda here. Well, the thing is, our ageing fleet of Mondeo taxis have to be replaced at some point. And as the government told us many years ago that diesels were the car to buy, and now they're telling us they're not the cars to buy, you should be buying petrols. You know how it is with their green agenda. So these are little 1.5 1500cc petrol engines. I have to say it's very nippy, it's quite good. So the question is, will these cars stand the test of time? And over the years, I mean, I've seen a lot of brand new cars come and go, right from the Mark 1 Mondeos through to the Mark 5 Mondeos. And you can well believe it, when you get a brand spanking new car, they all look like this, lovely and shiny, and you think, blimey, these are great. A few years down the line, once they've been used as taxis, they ain't so great, and all the little problems tend to come out. Things tend to fall off them, they get smashed up no end of times. This is the problem we've got. And I'm kind of thinking, will this car be any good as a taxi? I don't know. If I was to pit it, if I was to put a Mark 5 Mondeo next to this car, I would choose the Mark 5 Mondeo as a taxi. Simply because it's a diesel. The fuel consumption is negligible really. They're both going to be doing around about 46, 47 to the gallon. And that's not actually bad for a petrol of this size. But I think the Mark 5 Mondeo is definitely a stronger car. These look a little bit on the flimsy side, but there again I do think there's plenty of room inside them. They would do as a taxi. If you was just an ordinary person who owned one of these cars and you lovingly looked after this and you serviced it properly and looked after it, I'm sure this car would last many, many years. Unfortunately here at Steve's Taxis, there's a lot of drivers, there's about 100 cars. They don't always get serviced on time. A lot of the drivers don't even know how to drive a car. Believe me, I've come across so many drivers who don't even know what a temperature gauge is, When it bings up on the dash, engine overheating, they come in and say, what does that mean? Well, it means you've got no coolant in your engine, don't drive it no more. This is what you're dealing with. People who don't check their tyre pressures, this is another thing. But anyway, as far as this Skoda Octavia goes, it's the VAG group. They're very good, they're very high quality and very nice. I actually like this, I like the styling, I like the car. It's very nice inside and out. Whether it would hold up in 5 years' time as a taxi, the jury's out on that one. We don't know at the minute whether we're going to have these as taxis, not sure. If we do, then you'll be getting a lot more videos about these Skodas. If not, I'll tell you in the next video, it's not going to happen. But it was worth it, just to have this one here, just to go for a little run in it and have a look round it. It was well worth it. I quite enjoyed it. But anyway, we shall see as the time goes on. I think the actual boss is going to buy this car. He's going to buy it anyway, and we're going to use it. So we'll see how it goes, and we'll see if any problems materialise once it actually starts doing some work. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a like if you can, and I'll see you all in the next one. Adios.